Uh, sorry about that, chat. If you heard the missus speaking, I do apologize for her inappropriate language. How dare she? They know you didn't mean the cat. Do you want me to ask the audience that question? I don't think you want me to ask that question. Yo, how's it going, everyone? We are good for an. We need to know the question now. How do they want to know the question? These are drastic measures that might not be ready for primetime YouTube. Good shit, though. Oh, we actually have a lot of talking points today. Might actually shift some to Thursday. There's lots of dumb things PlayStation fans have said over the week. So how is everyone? Sanchez, it's always a scam. Honestly, if you've seen the panel that's actually doing the votes, and anyway, even regardless of the panel, why do we as gamers have a vote? What's getting negative reviews on Steam? It was great news. Oh, by the way, for those of you that have followed me on Blue Sky, whatever that app is called, thanks, I appreciate it. It seems to be a lot more friendly over there. Obviously now I'm posting in both X, Blue Sky, and Threads. I'm soon going to be more active on my TikTok account as well. Just trying to expand my horizons as I look to new ways to experiencing greatness. Okay, that's a double. I swear that's a double. That's a double too. Alright. Mate, of course I'm going to spend all my money on waifus. What else am I going to spend it on? Hey, Diablo. Hey, what's up, Bags? Blue Sky is a social platform like X. Pretty much the same layout, but it just doesn't have any drama. It's just got people there that just want to talk about cool stuff. Almost like a echo chamber of happiness talking about video games. Hey, look. Sanchez is the one that actually brought it up. I had no intention of bringing it up. How's it going, Steve? So, Stalker 2 is releasing tomorrow. Flight Simulator came out today. Microsoft decided to kind of late load their games, so every single one misses the Game Awards, which is Ironic to say the least. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a perv every once in a while, as long as you don't do anything stupid with it. I saw at Microsoft Ignite they could play it through xCloud, but I saw Steve having problems. I'm good, Steve. I am good. I am one step closer to my holidays, and I am very much looking forward to it. How are you finding it, Kira? Yeah, your Flight Sim launches today, and tomorrow you have Genshin Impact, you have Stalker 2, and you have the Stellar Blade DLC. Although I'm a little disappointed with the Stellar Blade DLC, I'm gonna check it out anyway. See what those things are like. I mean, I've heard that he's trying to trademark the word Game Awards. I really hope that's not true, because if it is, that's really sad. That's not on at all. That's almost like the episode in what was it, Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, where the woman decided that she was going to trademark what what was the town's name almost. That did not go down well. Bags, it won't get counted for next year. Anything released in November and December just gets lost in the ether. That's what's wrong with the Game Awards. The Game Awards that's happening in December should really be happening in January. And the cutoff, I guess, should be somewhere around December the 15th. And give, or December the 20th. Depending on when in January they're going to do it. If they do it towards the end of January, they can actually encompass the whole of December, year to year. And then just have the Game of the Year awards every January. That would make it a lot more fairer. It will not be counted for next year. Nothing released in November and December gets counted. Hey, Rebby. It wasn't the case the previous year. But it would just be easier if they did it January to December, right? Rabbi, I'm doing okay, thanks. Alright, let's do that. Maybe that will work. Because you guys did not hear the automated. Thank you very much for that £2 Chille. You should all like the video. Absolutely, you should. It is sound advice. I'm doing good, Rabbi, on Tuesday. How are you? In the grand scheme of things, Steve, it means absolutely nothing. Although I'm officially a co-streamer now for the Game Awards, I'm probably still going to get demonetized like crazy, but I'm officially a co-streamer. Rabbi, my birthday's on the 22nd. It is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's on Friday. My birthday is this Friday, where we are doing another community night, I believe. I need to set it up. Been so busy with work and the final run-in, they've been killing me this week. Hoping to do it this Friday, so hopefully I'll have something up for tomorrow. Is Stalker 2 getting a physical release? Not that I've seen. I know the most expensive one might have it, but all the other packages that I've seen, you get the box and nothing else. Hey, Byron. I mean, honestly, Jeff could have waited at least, a week more. But in case Stalker 2 was actually any good, he didn't want to harm his PlayStation bros. Yeah, members community night on Friday. I'm hoping to do that. Hopefully this Friday. If not Friday, it'll be definitely Saturday. Just need to sort logistics out this week. Oh, Gorsty. That sounds painful. Which number? What do you mean? It'll be Wednesday, around 7:30ish. I still can't believe. How can Elden Ring, of all games, DLC be nominated? It's not even like a standard DLC that you can play. It's so weird. Around 7:30, Rabbi. No! You did it. He gifted 5 subs. Devin is gonna turn me into a pirate. It doesn't matter if it's pretty much a new game. You can't play it. You can't play it without the standalone game, and you have to be like, what? 20 hours? 30 hours? 50 hours into the game before you can actually take part in the festivities of the DLC? That's not how it should work. I mean, maybe if they allowed you the option, armadillos. Maybe if they allowed you the option to skip all of it, okay, but you kind of have to go through like half the game to get to an optional boss that's easily missed before you can even access the game, the DLC. It's silly. But thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs. Rabbi, like I said, it depends. If my kid is on the Xbox, it'll be on the PC. If he's not on the Xbox, then I'm going to play it on Xbox. I'm hoping to play it on Xbox, but it really depends, because, well, kids are kids, right? Has Nintendo's year really been that bad? I don't know. I'm not quite sure if Nintendo's year has been that bad. So Byron, you know what it is. Day Reezy, Tarek Brown, and Scorpio have been gifted a sub. Which is cool. Wait, why the fuck is that there? But yeah. Rabbit, like I said, I'm going to try. I don't think there's enough subs in the world, Sanchez. I don't plan on taking any form of meth. And there isn't enough... Where is the parrot? I have no idea. Hey, Minimi. What happened to the parrot we ordered? The one that I got from Amazon.
No idea. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I didn't know you bought a parrot.
Of course I did. The Mario Party game, Jambare, it's just a Mario Party one, right? It's just a Mario Party. Nice, Devin. How are you finding the Rogue Ally? I hardly use my Switch. Not even my kids use it, honestly. And my nephew just only plays the Mario games. So if it's a Mario game, he'll have played it. If it's not, then he's pretty much going to skip it. To be fair, though, that Zelda game was a spin-off. It wasn't a real Zelda game. The handheld probably won't be here till 26, 27. Based on what Phil said. No, Kira. My kids are pretty much on Roblox all the time. Right? I mean, if you look at I mean, that and Call of Duty. He's in love with Call of Duty. He is really... He's really good with a keyboard and mouse. Like, scarily good. But just to show you, like, an indication of what I mean. Roblox is like its own network, for those that don't know, right? They jump into this, and all of these are just random games, and you've got all sorts of games in here. Some that, you know, actually look graphically really impressive. The whole, I mean, obviously for you, me, and the average person, this is garbage. But for the kids, this is just an infinite well of games, and this is just one pool of it. There's like thousands of different games that you can go through. This is just it's crazy how much how many different things. So games like Roblox are their number one go to. Rabbi, probably. I'm still thinking it's going to be 26 for the next Xbox. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that, Byron. I really like the DLC, but in certain places it fell short. And it kind of detracted from what made Starfield Starfield. I think basing the whole thing on one planet, which is what people wanted, I think in reality turned out to be a negative. I really enjoyed the DLC, but I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 overall. So Stevie here wants the old pirate accent. But what he doesn't know is this game you're seeing on screen right now should have been nominated for Game of the Year. No, this game definitely. I'm like this game not getting nominated even once. Still Wakes the Deep is an absolute daylight robbery. This was one of the best games I played this year. This game is just so good. Y'all know. I mean, the voice acting in there was probably the best voice acting I've heard in a long time. It's like so naturally perfect. Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain. I wonder how that's going to do. The pre-orders have been alright, right? They've been very happy with the pre-orders. What am I sure with? I mean, that's when it makes sense, Rabbi, for them to go with the next gen. I think at that point, the current generation consoles will be, I think the Series X can't go forward after 26. It'll be too old. Wait, Steve, what are you talking about? I am genuinely surprised that Dustborn and Veilguard did not get almost anything. Well, Dustborn got nothing. Although Polygon were really upset. There was one big snub in the Game Awards nominations: Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards, did not. Alright, chat. Shall we jump into the main story with FromSoft? Or should we have a little bit of fun first? I think we should have a little bit of fun. Destiny 2 should not have been there. Warframe deserved to be there. Rabbi, I said 26. So, this Muppet over here decided that he was going to take the physical, physical sales of games, right? Physical sales, right? We're talking physical sales. And he's comparing PlayStation's physical sales to PC. Come on. Come on, chat. Come on. Come on. Come on. This actually happened. This is how much their screws are gone. And of course, as we know, Xbox has 93% all digital purchases now. So obviously it's going to be a hell of a lot lower. But these are only physical. So it's clear, you can clearly see from 2017 for Capcom, the physical sales have just been going down and down and down and down. It took a little resurgence into 22, and then just continues to go down as Microsoft continues their brigade to go full digital. But he's trying to kind of, and this is Alejandro. He's trying to compare physical sales of PC and Xbox to the to the PlayStation consoles. Gaming is basically like the collector's editions where you can get the boxed product. They still count, and Golem was released on physical, so I'm guessing at least 20 people bought Golem physical. I was not one of them. I bought it digital instead. No, it won't be 2029, Robbie. I know I'm confident Sony would not pull From Software games off Xbox because it would be bad for them and might trigger Microsoft to respond in kind in a certain degree. See, I don't know if Microsoft would respond, and I can totally see. Wait, no, I did not buy it physically. Don't even try that. But yeah, I thought I would show this because this is a new level of stupid. My dude decides that he's gonna go and die on this hill, and good job to him because he a bit dumb. All right, let's go to the main story. So apparently there are discussions going on with Sony to acquire Japanese publisher Kadokawa, which owns Elden Rings from Software. Obviously, the bigger thing here is the anime. They own a lot of anime IPs, and buying Kadokawa means that they would pretty much have a monopoly in the West. Not in the East, nowhere near in the East. But in the West, they will pretty much have over 80%. I was reading articles today saying that with the huge share that Kadokawa has in the West, Sony would actually eclipse 90% of ownership within the West in terms of anime rights. So obviously that is Sony's main aim with this. Elden Ring will just be a bonus. They clearly want all the anime rights. They want to have that controlling power. Now it's going to be interesting to see, and a lot of people are, just coming at me for no reason. I've always been a legal person. I like to see the legalities and how this whole thing, matches out. I'm more interested to see the legal proceedings and what's going to be decided than the actual, console war side itself. I'm not really interested in that. But if Sony does end up buying Kadokawa, will they have to divest the anime IPs? Will they have to divest entirely the anime division into its own company, which would mean Sony has no control over them whatsoever? They become a separate entity. That would be interesting. Or are the regulators going to say, you know what, Sony? You're my best, bruv. We got this, bro. We got you. Wait. Disney and Netflix probably won't have much of a say. Well, here's the thing, right? Do you guys remember when Microsoft was buying ABK and all of these numpties were saying that consolidation was bad? Death to consolidation. Consolidation is bad. Remember all of this that they were saying? All of this? Surely you all remember, right? Because now they're all cheering for it. You've got J-Dub saying it's the best thing that's ever happened. Right? That everyone's just jealous. You've got Bell and James here who's cheering this. I mean, they have got to be the biggest flip-flop community I have ever seen. I mean, it kind of makes sense with the number of people that have flip-flopped from one end to the other, right? It kind of makes sense when you're looking at the likes of Tim, D, Warhammer. You're looking at Peter, whatever happened to him, and more. I mean, it's literally the home of flip-floppers. Bags, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Everything else is okay. Right? So now it's basically a case of everyone is okay. I mean, look at it. Just last week, they were all crying that, consolidation is bad. This is a company that's closed more studios than Microsoft in the last 2 years. Right? We're looking at a company that's closed more studios. Whether it's anime studios, whether it's gaming studios, more in 2 years than Microsoft has. It's crazy. I mean, Phil Spencer's still going to be there if that's what you're worried about. He's going to be there. But what's going to be even more interesting is if the regulators get involved. Obviously, I'm seeing a lot of people coming out now saying the regulators won't reject this. They will approve it. There's no reason for them to reject it, of course, now that it's PlayStation. But obviously, clearly, this has nothing to do with From Software. This is all to do with the anime rights. And this will give Sony a overwhelming majority. Like 85-90% in the West in terms of control. So this is going to be huge. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the regulators are going to deal with this. But I am just genuinely shocked at just how, crazy they've gotten from going from... I mean, it's almost like they're all bipolar, right? It's almost like they literally are bipolar. They go from one extreme to the next. There's no middle ground with them. There is no middle ground. I mean, this is pushing bipolar to the extreme. No. Phil Spencer didn't say buy a PS5 Pro, but if you want to buy a PS5 Pro, go for it. I've barely used mine, but then again, I'm not that disappointed because I got mine for $100. But if I got mine for $700, I would be really, really disappointed. Like, really disappointed. I mean, I'm going to buy the next Xbox console. Of course I'm going to buy it. It's going to be backwards compatible with all my other games that I never play. Why would I not buy it? Oh yeah, Bags. I'm waiting for the next acquisition that we're going to get. But to be fair, they've kind of never not wanted acquisitions. I haven't seen Xbox fans say acquisitions are bad. They're just gung-ho. Steve's just jealous, that's why. Hey, look, if you got a PS5 Pro for $100 as well, you'd be chill too. But look at it. I mean, come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, Rabbi, what's up? You want me to make the next gen Xbox? You probably don't want that. It'll be made out of cardboard boxes. I'm not smart enough to make the next Xbox. Unless I just build a PC. Well, Ventura, I am the pirate. I am missing me leg snub and me parrot. But you shall never know what became. Hun? What, remember the parrot I ordered?
Yeah.
It didn't arrive, did it?
Nope.
You had one job.
Bugger off.
What do you mean bugger off? You had one job.
How was she supposed to get it?
Fly?
And she tried flying it.
Oh, that was mean. Don't worry, hon. I won't repeat that. The little one is just mean. That was brutal. But, seriously, they've already started saying if Elden Ring wins Game of the Year, Sony gets the credit. No, Rabbi, the next console is coming. Phil Spencer's already confirmed it. I mean, yeah, Lena Khan is gone. She's leaving at the right time. Can you imagine if Lena Khan was in charge of the FTC? She'd be like, I don't want to go against Sony. I can't go against Sony. They pay us too much. We've protected them for the past 3 years. How can we turn our backs on them now? Approve everything! I mean, they're probably in the office right now saying, Sony, hurry up and put it through. We'll approve everything. Go, 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 go. Such is the way. I got Genshin Impact and Stalker 2. I'm supposed to play both of them. You see, the conundrum there is you get 2 controllers and master the art of controlling both of them with single hands and playing that way. Bags, I've said this multiple times, and I think I pissed off some people on X today by saying it. And I hope no one in here that's American takes offense to it. But the FTC is the first regulator I've seen that has actively gone out of their way to undermine US businesses in favor of foreign businesses when it comes to video games and anime. They care more about supporting and enforcing and, enriching commerce for foreign companies of other dignitaries than they do with homegrown soil companies. I mean, that's pretty obvious. It's so weird. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could totally get if our Prime Minister Keir Starmer did something like that. It'd be like Tuesday or Wednesday. It'd pretty much be like, the Street Fighter movie. For you, this was the most important day of your life, but for me, it was Tuesday. He wouldn't give two shits, but, the patriotic, attitude in the US is mind-blowing. And it's just crazy to see how much they have favored foreign dignitaries and foreign companies and foreign institutions over their own. And trashed their own as well. I've only kind of restricted myself to the gaming and anime and maybe a bit of the music scene. I haven't really gone into political side of things, and I don't really want to get into that on the stream. All I'm saying is, it's just it's crazy. Look, what I will say is this. If a studio is about to close down, or a publisher is about to close down and is going out of business, and they need someone to buy them out in order for them to survive and for jobs to be saved, I am in favor of someone coming along, I don't care who it is, to buy them out. But if they're not in any form of danger, they should be left alone. And if you are absolutely determined to buy them, as a third-party company, their games should remain multi-platform, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Stadia, Ouya, Etch-a-Sketch, or a Samsung fridge. It doesn't matter. No matter who buys them, especially if it's an Etch-a-Sketch or Stadia, they need to remain multi-platform. Tencent is eyeing everything. Project TH is some ways away. Maybe next year or maybe the year after. Last I heard, there should be a beta for it next year. Or towards the end of this year. It's like early next year. Slimy, is there literally anything? Wait. I've just realised who he is. Dude, did you get banned on Twitter? I actually came looking for you today. On Twitter. Unleashed. Because we had that bet in it. At the start of the year that Stellar Blade wouldn't get nominated for Game of the Year. Or get above 90. I was right on both occasions. I know you wanted to bet, what was it, 5 or 8 billion euros? And I agreed to a $10 bet. But you are unleashed. It's definitely unleashed. The language is too similar. I actually went looking for him today. I can't find him. 2025 probably, Remy. That's when I heard the beta's coming out. We'll know more after that. You remember Unleashed? That dude that used to jump in here? The special one. I mean, they're making a new Xbox console. How is it dead? How is it dead? If they're making a new console, it's not dead. Rabbit, it's too early for a release date. I don't know if they've announced the platform for Project TH. I mean, it's a code name. I mean, apparently it's supposed to, according to Google, it's supposed to, Project TH is supposed to come out on the 30th of December. So, let's see if that happens. Is it on Xbox or is it PC only? Oh, it is coming to Xbox. So, time will tell. Oh, damn. Oopsie, that was my bad. That's what happens when I'm clicking between screens, trying to do stupid stuff. Alright, no more of that stuff. Yeah, this is why when I saw that trailer advert, when it said for Avowed up to 5 days early, this Microsoft Flight Sim is what I'm talking about. Now they say up to 5 days early because they know it's not going to come out working. It never does. Sorry about that. But yeah, this situation with the whole Kadokawa is going to be interesting to follow. And if Sony does put a formal bid in, it's going to be interesting to see. Because doesn't Tencent actually own a percentage of Kadokawa? It's not even about that, right? What Microsoft is trying to do, and this is going to be a massive, 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 you know, if it pulls off, it's going to be amazing. If it doesn't pull off, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they do. But let me just switch over to let me add. Let me see. Can I do this? I can't. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So what we're gonna do is add a new capture window. We're not gonna make the source available for a second. We're gonna add paint. And then we're gonna click on Microsoft Paint. We're gonna put that there like that. And then we're gonna do that. All right. So here is the thing, right? Here is Microsoft's plan. This is what I see it. At the moment, they've got 30 million consoles. Probably a little more, but whatever. Let's leave it at 30. What they want to do is make that 500 million, right? And obviously that's a long way away from 30 million. So how do they plan to get there? And why should third-party companies care about this number when this is the one that will only matter to them because that's the only one that they can release their games on? That's a valid point. It was until Microsoft, right, made their mobile phones able to download the games. Well, not download the games, but buy Game Pass, buy the games off the phone and play them. Which means it's not just your phone, but your tablet, your TV, right? Anything that's got a screen now is able to stream xCloud, which is running off a Series X or an S, depending on how busy they are. And once they upgrade their servers, they will all be running generally off the X once they upgrade them. But for now, when it gets super busy, it's running off the S. But they are still running off the Series S. So if cloud gaming now turns round and then Game Pass increases by, say, 30 million, and they offer, even forget Game Pass Ultimate, but let's say they introduce a clouds version only for, I don't know, $8 or $10, right? And they get 40 million cloud subscribers. Those 40 million people are now playing on a Series S, right? So now, when a third-party publisher, great handwriting, I know, isn't looking at 30 million, they're looking at 30 million plus 40 million, they're looking at 70 million. Because there's these players that are on the cloud for xCloud are still running off an Xbox console. So even though they're not selling the physical console, by selling the cloud subscription, which is coming, by the way, it's in the works for them to find the right price for it. At the moment, it's through Game Pass Ultimate only, but it's going to come. It's inevitable. All of these people here are playing the same console. At the moment, it's an S. Once they upgrade the structure, it will be an X. And then there'll be no difference between them. It's just they're not buying the physical console. But as far as the third-party company is concerned, now they look at it and say, well, look, Microsoft now has 70 million console users. It doesn't matter that they've actually bought the console. They will have 70 million console users versus Sony's 62 million. The 70 million instantly becomes a lot more attractive. That's the game plan. That right there is the game plan. That's it. That's the plan. And if they can pull it off, it'll be great. If they can't pull it off, then it's not going to be great. Time is going to tell how that actually plays out, obviously. But that is the plan of what Microsoft want to do. Because they've set it up in a way that all their xCloud games run off an Xbox. So if they get 50 million cloud subscribers, that's 50 million Xbox users. And if they don't run through Game Pass, that means they have to buy their games individually. That's very lucrative for a third-party company. It is, it is literally the same thing as buying a console without buying the console. Hey, shut up, Gorsty. Kira, we haven't seen the Game Pass subscription numbers. Last we saw, they had 34 million Game Pass console and Ultimate subscribers with PC, and then they had another 12 million with Game Pass Core. So they roughly had about 46 million overall, but people don't count the Core, so... But the Core is still subscription money coming in, so I don't see why they don't count it, but they don't seem to count the Core. I saw that article. I saw that actually, Sanchez. 25% don't actually. 25% of users haven't put on their PS5s in over a year. I'm guessing some of that is ones stuck with scalpers and whatnot. So that's quite bad. Bags, that's the whole point. You're given the choice, but as long as you are playing it on an Xbox console through the cloud, technically you are still an Xbox console user. Now, if you're using GeForce Now, or if you're using the Xbox app on PC to run the PC version, then that's different. That doesn't contribute to the console numbers. This is only for xCloud numbers. But as long as their games become play anywhere, then that once again changes things. You'll buy the Xbox version and you can play it on your PC. I think, Steve, they probably got about 4 or 5 million during COD. Hallgrain, I'm actually going to put that clip on. But before I get to the whole Jez's comments, what does everyone think of that plan by Xbox? I mean, that's their plan. Akira, this is a very, very good point. And I've said this multiple times, and I'm going to say it again. The onus is on Microsoft to keep them there. They need to be providing them with quality games every month or every 6 weeks in order to keep them ticking along in order to play. I mean, if they're only interested in just COD, maybe it might not be worth it. If that's the only game they play, I don't, maybe not. But the moment they play, at least in the UK, I know in the US you guys get ripped off hardcore, but in the UK, all you need to do is play 2 games and an indie game, and you've made your money. It's £180 here, whereas in the US it's $240. I still don't understand why you guys get bumped so hard, but it is what it is. But in the UK, I just need to play 2 games and an indie game, and I've made the purchase price of Game Pass. Everything else I play after that is profit. Chille can't make it today, unfortunately. He's streaming. That's well known. Wait. I mean, Steven, that's the best way to do it. I mean, I think that's how most rational people do it. Who are you trying to guess, Gorsty? Who are you trying to guess? Whole grain bread? Whole grain, can I give him a clue? Okay, Gorsty. Here is your clue. I am your father. Stephen. Come on, that's like the best clue you're gonna get. Maybe it was too much of a clue. Oh. I don't think he. I think he might have left. That gave it away. Maybe that was a bit too much. All right, let's check out this clip from Jez. This is talking about the red line situation. It's quite, I don't know, I found it quite amusing because let's just listen to it. It's funny. It's funny. Let's just listen to it because I thought this was quite funny.
When it comes to no red lines, it also means in the other direction. It means like there's no red lines on games that we will hold off from PlayStation because it might have a positive impact on the ecosystem or an outsizedly negative impact, right? So it is just going to generally be a case-by-case basis, whereas like a publisher, it would never be a case-by-case basis, especially like someone like EA, who've long been established as someone who develops games for multiple platforms simultaneously. For them, it's never a case-by-case basis. But for Xbox, it is going to be a case-by-case basis. And at least for the foreseeable, I don't see that changing anytime soon. Like
Right.
D-Batch is in chat saying, it does not mean that, Jez. Oh my gosh, come on. I mean, dude, I've literally spoken to people in LA describing that exact scenario to me. So, you know, I mean, share your sources, bro. Or it's just, you know, FUD. When it comes to no red lines.
So D-Batch getting put in his place again, as usual. But in my opinion, this is exactly what it means. It doesn't mean that every game is going, and there are clearly certain titles that they know will do more damage than good, and so they're not. You know, in regards to that whole red line thing, you know, there are clearly certain red flags there that they will consider and walk around very, very carefully. But obviously, D-Batch has got communications with Phil Spencer, and he's in the boardroom alongside Tim, so they clearly know the ins and outs. I guess they are in the know when it comes to the whole thing. situation. Steve, you are a troll. You are a troll. But going back to the point I was making, this is the point I'm making, right? With the whole Xbox thing and the cloud being a console, this game is not available on Game Pass, but it is now playable on the cloud. High on Life. Dying Light is now playable on the cloud without Game Pass. If you buy the game on its own, you can play it on the cloud without the need for it to be on Game Pass. You still need Game Pass Ultimate, but the game isn't on Game Pass, so you buy it and you can play it. And it's being played on an Xbox console. So if you're playing on your phone and you're playing through the cloud and you're connecting to an Xbox console, you are a console user and you count as a console user. That's the point I was making. And, it started. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops, because this is the key to Microsoft's complete strategy. That is literally it. So, Jess Corden had some, I think it's over here, right? This is the one that someone in chat told me about just a second ago regarding Fable. Let's just listen to it. It's 3 minutes long. It's kind of long. But the key takeaways here is that there was alpha footage of Fable, which means it's quite far away. I mean, at this point, you probably would have thought it would be in beta at least, but it's still in alpha. It is a CD Projekt Red DNA with similar to Witcher 3 mechanics, implemented like using the different swords and magic. Mature tone from enemy types to narrative. Very polished for an alpha build, which means it's probably teetering on the beta side. Heard there will be options for multiple main protagonists. So if you want to identify as a lamppost, there will probably be an option for you to play as a lamppost. Does anyone actually want to listen to what the conversation is? It's not long, it's 3 minutes. I thought Witcher 3's combat was the greatest.
I very recently, saw some alpha gameplay footage from Fable. I have no idea when it was from. I don't know if it was earlier in development. I don't know if it was recent. I don't know if it's something they're going to show off soon, but it looked fucking fantastic, man. It looked fucking fantastic. Okay, so you can tell that this game has CD Projekt Red DNA.
Uh-huh.
So the developers, Playground Games, they picked up a bunch of developers for CD Projekt Red, and I believe they picked up the combat designer. And you can kind of tell, I'm not saying it's 100% one-to-one with Witcher, because it's not, right? But you can kind of tell that melee combat, that sort of the pirouettes and the dodging and the dodge rolling and the seamless, like, hack and slash into an execution, which looks really, really cool. All that stuff is there. Like, it looks super polished. It looks super good. And if this was early gameplay, then like it probably looks even better now than from what I was shown. And beyond that, there was also there was a lot of mixing, like, again, like a bit like Geralt. And again, it's not one-to-one with Geralt, so don't think that. But there was also like mixing in of different weapon types. So there was like pulling out a bow and arrow, and also like dropping spells. I saw a spell that was like lifting up a group of dudes off the ground and slamming them, like almost like
I think that was
Like if the Fable avatar that you use turns around and says Wingardium Leviosa, I'm out.
there was a spell like that briefly in the last trailer. He's like lifted something up and then she slammed it down. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I also saw some enemies. I saw like a giant chicken, for example.
Of course, gotta have chicken in Fable.
Look, a Fable without a chicken is not Fable. That's all I'm saying. I seen and I remember those times with you herding those chickens. Pepperbridge remembers everything.
Yeah, giant chicken. So like, I kind of thought like, cockatrice kind of thing, but it actually it looked like a chicken. That sort of comedic angle, but also not. Like, it looked like a dangerous, fucking scary chicken, dude. So and also I saw a werewolf. There was a scene where they lure a werewolf with bacon and eggs and bacon and eggs and sausages in a saucepan. I was going to say chips, but they basically cook a werewolf a full English breakfast to lure it out of its lair. Is kind of the impression that I got there.
A werewolf eating a full English. It's ironic that he should say to be talking about a full English when the person that is actually, the person's username at the top is Beans. That's all I'm going to say. That can't be a coincidence.
But yeah, it looked really great, man. The combat looked really tight. I saw a variety of weapons. I saw a big mallet thing, which was, was being used to swing around, hit multiple enemies at once. It looked super good, super tight, and my hype level.
Same character, or did you notice like it was maybe create a character?
It was the same character that everyone's seen.
Yeah.
But I have heard that you will at least. I heard this. I was told this at an event. I think I was told this at Summer Game Fest, that you will be able to select a character, maybe like a male or female. So we haven't seen the male model yet. So maybe if they did do a direct, they'd be like, okay, and here's the male actor, But yeah, it was the same character that people have seen already. But
I'm really disappointed. I can't pick a lamppost. I feel unrepresented right now. Just saying. But at least it's good news. Fable is actually, on track to be doing well. I know Fable Legends was liked by some during the beta, but that was different. How can you take a full English with no tomatoes or beans? It's not a full English then. I mean, the definition of a full English is that it's a full English. The moment you start taking stuff out, it ain't a full English. And look, cooked tomatoes are good. Grilled tomatoes are good. Any of you tried that non-alcohol booze? Yeah, no Marmite. That's just nasty. Yeah, we need to ban Steve, literally. Yeah, I think in the wrong way, Steve. It keeps people away from you. I tried two today. I tried Corona and what was the other one? I can't remember now. I think it might have been Stella. Either way, they tasted alright. As someone that can't drink alcohol because I take way too many medications just to keep me alive, it's at least something. Obviously, it won't get me drunk, but the taste was nice. So this over here is talking about the Phil Spencer interview with GameFile. I know I covered this in a video, but I just wanted to go over it ever so slightly. The article itself went over how Indiana Jones on a subscription service brought in extra headache with licenses. Now, clearly what they're referring to here is the contract with Marvel and the really ridiculous requirements that Marvel sets in. But it's interesting to see because I can, it's pretty much everyone should expect Blade to also be a timed exclusive purely because of that Marvel contract. It does make, hitting those milestones really difficult on a subscription based, console service. That's just something that is, a no-brainer. When you sell 11 million copies of Spider-Man 2 and you still don't break even, you know that there is a problem with said contract. 11 million copies and you don't break even, which is why the DLCs got cancelled, right? There's no other reason why the free DLCs that they had planned is cancelled. They got cancelled because they just didn't break even, which is why now they're pushing it to PC to try and, in hopes, to make more money quickly before the contractual deadline for the game. Yeah, but you're only restricting it to one platform. Joshua, I'm talking 11 million sales and it still wasn't enough. That's a lot of sales, right? That's a lot of sales. 11 million. It's nothing to scoff at. And it still wasn't enough because of how bad that contract was. So I think on this occasion, it wasn't a case of when Microsoft wanted to do it. I just feel like they had no choice based on the fact that they have Game Pass. This isn't to say that Xbox gamers don't buy games, because we've clearly seen, that debunked time and time again. Clearly they do. But not in the quantity that Marvel, the greedy sods, actually want it. So I think that's actually probably a smart move from them. Organic collaboration between Call of Duty teams went very well. More room for smaller hit titles like Grounded, which was made by 12 people. And this is the actual thing that Matt Booty was actually talking about when he said smaller studios making smaller games, and everyone, had a mental breakdown because of Tango Gameworks and, saying, oh, well, they made a small game with like 500 people working for them. No, they're talking about, games that are made by like 5 people or 10 people or even one person, right? Balatro was made by one person. You've got games that are made by 3 people or 5 people. They're talking about games like Dave the Diver, which he, name dropped. They want those type of games that basically are super cheap to build, super cheap to make, then become an instant sensation with the community and sell millions. And that's super profit. So that's what they're looking for here, even though people still, in their own mental ways, decide that they're going to not understand what they're talking about. Age of Empires Mythology on console do very well. That it may surprise a lot of people. Actually, that has surprised me. Games like Age of Mythology and Age of Empires, I just really never saw. And when I saw the controller layout that that you could go into in the options when you start the game up, you look at that and you've got a better chance of fixing a Rubik cubes in 10 seconds than understanding what the hell that button layout is. Hey, Arthur, how's it going? Devastator, as long as it has potential to sell, yes. Not a big studio, no. The studio might be big, but the team building it was really small. Exactly, Navy. They want those small games that have low cost but massive impact. I'll be around after the stream, Arthur, if you want to jump on Discord. I will have a look at that in a little bit. But yeah, interesting stuff. I mean, just look at this. This is the type of thing that, obviously this is a bit more expensive than Grounded, but Control 2 has a 50 million development budget. Compare this to Spider-Man 3, which has like a 400 million budget. It's crazy. We're talking 50 million euros here. So that's like what? 45 million pounds? I guess the euro and the dollar are roughly around the same. I'm not sure. I haven't checked in a while. But that's like 45 million quid compared to the 350, 400 million of Spider-Man. They didn't say. FBC Firebreak, that new game that's coming along, that's built, the multiplayer one, has a 30 million budget. Oh, I'm super looking forward to Control 2. But what I'm saying is, it's all about keeping your costs low, delivering a great experience, and making a lot of profit, which is something Sony seem to not really know how to do at the moment. It is probably now 360 days will probably be even less, right? Probably be less. Yo, I have a question for you all. Do you remember when games were releasing at 30 FPS on Xbox? And how PlayStation fans were mocking? Now they're championing 30 FPS. I don't care if it's on 8K, it's upscaled. It's not native. But 30 FPS seems to be the new thing for PS5 players. That's weird. Look at it. They're all like out in droves supporting 30 FPS. That's good for them, man. So the next time they actually talk about anything 30 FPS, just know that they are championing 30 FPS. 30 FPS is cool now. 30 FPS is cool. Even in Alan Wake 2, 30 FPS with the worst ray tracing available compared to PC is cool now. But the key takeaway here is 30 FPS is cool now. It wasn't before. There's always been a problem with 30 FPS. You know that, and I know that. I know, Sanchez. I know. So, for those of you that like Final Fantasy VI, instead of a full remake, which would take about 10 years, Masaki Hayasaka wants to see a HD 2D remake of Final Fantasy VI like Dragon Quest. And that could actually be released in a couple years. Would people be happy with Final Fantasy VI HD 2D remake in the vein of Dragon Quest 3? Would that be something that you'd be happy with? Or would you want a fully fledged Final Fantasy VII remake that will probably arrive in the next 10-15 years? E-machine PC. It looks like Pisser is having a lot of problems, isn't it, with some games? At the end of the day, it seems to be downscaling a hell of a lot, and that is causing problems. What's up? A little bit. Kevin, I fully agree with that one. They got Chrono Cross out. They need Chrono Trigger. We all need a bit of the trigger. By the way, does anyone remember the Paramount bid that Sony did? Nah, they're not going to do a full remake, Steven. It's going to be a HD remake. HD 2D remake. They're just going to redo the sprites and stuff. Maybe add new cutscenes and stuff in between. But they're not going to do a full remake like 7. I think that was like a one-time thing. I don't see them doing that again. Sanchez, Astro Flop will probably not. It's going to be Elden Ring. I mean, look, it's obvious why Elden Ring. Before I get, actually, you know what? This kind of makes. It's obvious why Jeff Keighley wanted Elden Ring to be in it this year. I mean, it kind of makes sense now with him knowing that Sony is potentially buying FromSoft and Kadokawa. This was his way to shill for Sony in more ways than one. There's pretty much no denying that. I mean, the coincidences are just way too much here. He announces a change to the rules like what, 2 days before, and then what, 24 hours later after the announcement, this news comes out. That's way too much of a coincidence. Way too much. I believe in coincidences, but this one is just literally put on your plate. Metaphor deserves it, but Elden Ring is going to win it. Is it really that bad, Steve? That's rough. But so Richard Hawk says, honestly, I'd be more concerned about Sony accidentally bankrupting themselves than monopolizing games anime. I just don't see a simple way for them to pay for this, considering they've just lost about $4 billion with Bungie and Firewalk, right? They've lost about $4 billion. But Buldilocks here, he thought Sony single-handedly paid $26 billion for Paramount. The fact that Apollo was paying for over half of that, he thinks that Sony themselves was paying $26 billion. I mean, at the end of the day, Steve, it could literally be that the login is broken, unless people are getting in. Have you seen anyone actually get in on social media? If you haven't, the actual logging in process could be completely and utterly foobarred. I mean, that could just be an excuse, right? But yeah, no one tell him that Sony didn't actually offer 26 billion. He's a bit of a special one, isn't he? So, we have our voting awards, which seem, I mean, some of you are crazy, right? Best ongoing. I mean, should Helldivers really be here? My dude hasn't even been here for a year. I know, Sanchez, I know. Well, this is the thing, right? Our votes actually mean absolutely nothing. We, as a global gaming, community from all sides of the walk could come together and every single one of us could vote on the exact same ones for every single category. And it still would not matter. Our voting here is a facade. It means nothing. We only have collectively 10% of the vote. The judges, who some of them probably haven't played a video game in their lives, have 90% of the vote. The scale is too tipped in one direction. I mean, potentially, yeah. I mean, Diablo has had its up and downs. I know the new expansion came out to some favorable acclaim, but it didn't really light the world. Destiny 2 has had a great expansion, but everything before and after it was complete shit, and the previous expansion was even worse. So I don't really understand why Destiny 2 was even there. I tried arguing this point, but the Sony shields overpowered me. I get Fortnite. That makes sense. That's been here for years. That's probably going to be in the running every year. Helldivers hasn't been here for a year, so how can it be best ongoing? Where has it been ongoing? It's not even made it. It's not even 1 years of age. Hey, Elena, how's it going? So, this already, it just looks like a farce, right? I mean, MMOs would fall into this because MMOs are almost like live service. They have updates every 6 weeks. Elena, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow over at Twitch. The link should be in the description below. But it's just crazy. Best community support. You got Helldivers who basically told their community to go and delete their save file. That's grade A community support right there. Have no idea about Fortnite. No Man's Sky is... Actually, I have no idea. Larian has been doing really well. And these are the only two I really know about. And they've been doing well. But, when you've got people that used to work here that told you to go and delete your save file because they didn't agree with your point of view, that is great community support. Arthur, no. That's been they were too late to make it. See, Stephen, I think MiHoYo Games should be here, and I think MiHoYo Games should be here. Even Wuthering Waves, I think is too new, but Zenless Zone Zero could have been anywhere here for best ongoing game, or not Zenless Zone Zero, sorry, Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact. They could have easily made these, right? Then you got Best Independent, which is fine. Animal Well is a Donkey's game. You know, people like Donkey should have a real vote, I reckon. You know, these are big influencers. You know, you got people like Angry Joe, you know, Colin Moriarty. I know they'll be a bit more skewed.
$2 Canadian through Super Chat. Warframe should be an ongoing and calm support.
It should, Devastator. Thank you very much for that 2 Canadian. I appreciate you. We are edging more and more to that $300 mark. We have hit 110. But you know, clearly these two are going to be the ones that people go for. Best debut indie game. Plucky Squire was actually really good. I really enjoyed that. I'm just surprised Balatro is so popular. I've not played it, but it's just not my type of game. And this is a Metroidvania style game. Best mobile game, AFK Journey, Balatro. So why is Balatro as a mobile game here, but games like Wuthering Waves and others, the whole thing just seems scuffed. Although this is the first year that Genshin Impact didn't get nominated. In fact, outside of Zenless Zone Zero, that is the only Hoyo game that got nominated. That's kind of crazy. Considering how many people purchased Sea of Thieves, I'm surprised Sea of Thieves didn't at least get a nomination. Blaze, what do you think of Animal Well? That is Donkey's game. What do you want to show me on Discord, Eleanor? I mean, you can. If you're on my Discord, go for it. Drop me a DM or something. Or put it in the general chat. Best VR? I mean, obviously, Batman is going to win this. This is, hands down obvious. When did Metro Awakening come out? That game came and disappeared in like a flash. Best action game. I mean, I just don't think Helldivers should be here. Best in the multiplayer category, sure. I mean, this at least has a single player campaign. I don't know. This is actually a good category overall. I just think that one should be replaced. But it's going to be this one's going to be interesting to see who actually wins. I haven't played Warhammer Space Marine 2 yet. That's on my cards to play. I really enjoyed the Call of Duty campaign. I think that was great. Black Myth I played for about an hour. Not for me. I knew it wasn't going to be for me. My son loved it. Absolutely. Like, he finished it. I really enjoyed Stellar Blade. You know, so it's a difficult one. But for me, I think Stellar Blade might take it. Best action adventure. How is... Well, I don't even understand how Silent Hill 2 fits into this. I mean, I think Prince of Persia should take this quite easily. Personally, I think Astrobot is going to take it, but Prince of Persia deserves this easily, hands down. Powerboss is crazy not being nominated, right? How is Powerboss, a game that had 2.3 million concurrent users, not in the running for any awards whatsoever? I don't care if it's still in early access. I don't know. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown was a really good game. Really, really good game. And I still need to finish Star Wars Outlaws, but I really enjoyed it. I need to go to the final planet in Tatooine now to finish it off. I need to get back to that at some point. Currently playing through Life is Strange Double Exposure, so I can review that. So do look out for that review. And I will be doing a lot more reviews on the channel. News seems to be stale, and well, I'm just not into mocking people and grifting them for no reason. I mean, if they deserve it, that kind of is different. Some of them truly deserve it, especially with the way they flip-flop. But, this one's a tricky one for me, because there's a couple games here that really are definitely up there for me. Hades 2 was really good as well, Bags. I don't understand why Hades 2 wasn't even nominated at all. Like, what I'm saying is they're bending the rules for DLCs and everything like that. Why not add an extra category for early access? But that doesn't support their narrative. Early access should have been a category. Best RPG, Metaphor ReFantasio clearly is going to take this one. I've just heard way too many conflicting stories from diehard Final Fantasy VII fans for this. And, people that I trust that has played this. Infinite Wealth was really good. I think it deserved a nomination. I just think it came into something that was thing. But, I think Metaphor should win this, but obviously Elden Ring's going to win it. Anything that has Elden Ring is going to be the same thing as Baldur's Gate 3 last year. If Baldur's Gate 3 was in the category, it is going to automatically win. And in my opinion, as we're going to watch it live here on this channel on December the 12th, so hopefully you'll tune in while we check this game show out that's pretty much designed for advertisement and bollocks, we will see that anything that Elden Ring is nominated for is going to be an instant default win. I'll be very surprised if they don't. Best fighting game. You clearly know after all the drama that's not going to win, even though that's probably the one I would give my vote for. This one did insanely well. I think like 3 million copies in 24 hours. A lot of people are going for Tekken 8, but my heart goes with Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. My brain says Dragon Ball, but I know the riggedness of this is probably going to say Multiverses because it looks very cutesy. Best Family. Nope. I think it's between Super Mario Party Jamboree and Astrobot. I think Astrobot has a chance of taking this one or Super Mario Party. I'm not really seeing how this is best family because it's not a multiplayer game. So maybe Mario Party Jamboree is going to win this. These are all single player games, so I don't really see how, if anything, they're going to actually do anything. Doesn't make sense. Ugh. Let's take this up. Oh. Ugh. Devin, thank you very much for that 5 gifted subs, my dude. I appreciate you. Yeah, get off. You said? No, they've all gone. Just gonna ask for a drink. Best sim strategy. Oh, can you get me a drink, please? Not a can. Just put it in a glass. Never played Mana Lords, though I've heard a bit about it. Kunitsu was fun, but what? Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Age of Mythology is, these two have their following. I want Unicorn Overlord to win. I like the design of this one, so hopefully that gets the win. For me, I want Unicorn to win this one. It just doesn't appeal to me, Leafstorm. The ones that appeal to me are Kunitsugami and Unicorn Overlord. These games have never appealed to me, these three. So for me personally, like on my personal bias, it's between these two. RTS games, sim-based games just aren't my thing. I know this is a sim as well, to be fair, but it's more pleasing on my eye. Is Unicorn Overlord not on PC? We all love a bit of jiggle physics. Best sports racing. Yeah? Hmm? Let's ask chat. Chat, so my kid is asking, would anyone be interested in seeing some of his amazing gameplay? And by amazing gameplay, he is really, really goddamn good. I'm not even joking. I'm not just bigging him up. Some of you have seen him on Twitch playing when he was streaming with keyboard and mouse. He is really damn good at Call of Duty, which is why my KD is looking remarkably amazing right now because he's using my account. Shut up. You don't need to talk about that. Are you trying to get into the picture? No. He's a drug. Earlier today, it was quite funny. There was a couple of people getting really upset because he was so good. And they actually accused him of cheating while he was playing on PC. So I came on the mic and I said, must suck losing to a 9-year-old. They lost their shit. 10, whatever. But they lost. They they lost it. What do you mean that is cheating? My son has. You know the one that did what was that game? That Valorant style game. Forgot what it's called now. Fragpunk? Was it? No, it wasn't Frag. Was it Fragpunk? I think so. He pretty much beat most of the game without any support. I mean, he played 5 games today and got in the top 3 in all of them, and play of the game on 3 out of 5. Yeah, my son really likes Souls games. My older son, he really likes Souls games. He lives in those. But for this, it's going to be EA Sports FC 25. Clearly, there hasn't. I really miss a good tennis game. NBA games just don't feel right. No one cares for wrestling in terms of gaming. They don't sell well. And F1 is F1. No. Best multiplayer. Not Tekken. I've heard bad things about Warhammer's multiplayer. Has anyone actually played their multiplayer? All I keep hearing is bad things about the multiplayer. And the multiplayer for Helldivers is dubbed Nerfifier. Honestly, I think Call of Duty should take this. I'm going to even vote for it. I think Call of Duty should take it. Just watching my son play, it's insane. Best adaptation. Yakuza Like a Dragon is absolute shite. Knuckles was mid. This is really good. I've just got no interest in that franchise. Lara Croft, I didn't watch it. All I've heard is shite, so I'm going to go with Fallout. Obviously. Most anticipated game. What is your most anticipated game? Believe it or not, for me, it is not Grand Theft Auto. I still need to watch Knuckles Gorsty. I've just heard really bad things, so I've not gotten around to it yet. Plus, I was binge watching House, if anyone's seen that. And Steve, you were right. When I got to the end, it all made sense. The final episode actually came full circle. So, yeah, that actually made a lot more. It actually made me appreciate him a hell of a lot more. I mean, Avowed could have appeared here. Yeah, you can. Avowed could have appeared here. Fable, which is due next year, could have appeared here. Perfect Dark could have appeared here. There's so many Xbox games that could have appeared here, but none of the thing. I mean, you're all saying Grand Theft Auto. I've got no real interest in that game. I mean, I've got more interested in Metroid Prime 4 than I do with Grand Theft Auto 6. Doom Dark Ages could have appeared there. I mean, there's so many good games that could have appeared here. It's like they deliberately just didn't want a single Xbox game to be here. I mean, GTA is going to get delayed. Everyone knows this. It's not coming next year. It's a 2026 game. I mean, clearly you do, Bags. You're here. Because Xbox gives you hemorrhoids. Is Metroid 4 even real? It is real, Gorsty. It is. They've rebooted it like 3-4 times, but it is real. Believe it or not. So for me, it would be between Death Stranding 2. I'd need to play the first one first. I have bought it on Xbox. Oh, did you guys all see the amount of hate that was coming from Camp Blue because Xbox fans were enjoying Death Stranding? I mean, I get the cult thing. He kind of asked for that. He totally asked for that one. But even other people that were just enjoying it, Goldilocks, a lot of them, they were all out to just to harass them. I guess. That was ridiculous how salty they were with Death Stranding. But yeah, that's not. I'm kind of interested in it because I still want to play it, but that's not my anticipated. For me, my most anticipated is between in this list is between Ghost of Yote because I really liked Ghost of Tsushima. That was one of my favorite games on PlayStation, alongside Returnal. Um, and Metroid Prime. I liked Monster Hunter, but I get bored of it too quickly, especially once I like finish the story. I don't really care for the end game. I'll probably play it for the story and then just be done with it, like I did with the previous Monster Hunter Worlds. But yeah, I'm undecided between Prime and Yote. But yeah, I must be like one of the very few people that doesn't care for Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, I know my kid wants to play it, so I'm gonna buy it regardless, but I got no interest in it. Hey, Bags, what can I say? They give me freebies. I gotta support the pony side at least at one point. It's woke. Just pick Metroid, but that's a woman too. Do you know it's going to be really funny if Grand Theft Auto 6 flops hard? I'm hoping it's good for those people that actually want to enjoy it. Like, I genuinely hope the game is good. I don't want any game to be bad. People spend too much time building these games. Unless it's Dragon Age, the Veilguard. Then I do want that game to fail. Because it sets a bad precedent if it succeeds. But if it fails, a game on that scale fails and people don't buy it, which apparently it sold less copies than Star Wars Outlaws, so it's not doing well. And now, did you hear what the producer for the Dragon Age Veilguard said? Did anyone read up on that? Hey, Devastator, thank you for that $2. Monster Hunter Wilds is the best game on that list. I appreciate you. I know a lot of people that will agree with you, Devastator. A lot of people. Especially Rurikan, if anyone want to see him. That guy pretty much lives, sleeps, shits Monster Hunter. So if you're ever interested in like any how-to videos, that's your go-to guy since Alex is just gone. Was it Alex? I think that was his name. So now, the producer of Dragon Age Veilguard came out and saying that they underestimated the direction and the way the game was written.
Devastate or 2,000 tip $2 through Super Chat. Monster Hunter Wilds is best game on the list.
And so they will need to go back and find out where these failings were. They actually came out and made that statement as if they didn't know what was in the game. As if they didn't record these lines and see the script. Like, who are they kidding here? Like, who are they seriously kidding? It's, you know, he basically came out and made the point that people calling out the reasons why they're not buying it, like they weren't aware of it, and these are things that they're gonna look into and see where the failings were. come on. That's like, hey, we're the ones that wanted this crap, but now that it's failed, we don't want to get into trouble, so it was their fault. That finger pointing is crazy. But internally, they are starting, at the end of the day, if you want change, and this is just the way it is, if you want change, a game of big magnitude has to fail. Dustborn failing is a joke. Concord failing is a joke. But a game as big as Dragon Age failing is going to turn heads. Now you've got IGN writing articles, turning around and saying that pretty much they were wrong in their review. I've seen Eurogamer doing it. I've seen a couple of other publications as well, basically now turning around and criticizing Dragon Age the Veilguard, now that they don't have to forcefully give them a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. Now that the whole situation is done with and, they're not forced to give the review scores that they were told to give, which is now blatantly obvious because they're coming out now in droves and talking about what is wrong with the game when they didn't talk about that in the goddamn reviews, which now makes, these publications even more just weak and just trash, right? But now they're coming out and saying why it failed and what's wrong with it and how things could have been improved. Get out of here. Literally no one cares. Again, literally no one cares. I don't even think the people here care. Again, I literally think the people don't care, even the people here. Okay, that's it. Like, seriously, why are these even in the nominations? Like, literally, no one cares. Best esports athlete, no one cares. Best esports game, no one cares. Best content creator of the year, like, has anyone even heard of these people? No one cares. Clearly, if I'm not there, then there is obviously a problem because it can't be content creator of the year without me there. If my picture isn't there, how can it be best content creator of the year? So, it's weird. Weird. I don't even mean it in a disrespectful way. It's just, why are they in a gaming situation? That's why my pick isn't there. That's just... Hey, look. I'm still going to try and get a 15K video before the end of the year. I'm probably going to fail miserably, but I'm still hoping, that's my goal for this year. To try and get one video out there that's going to get 15,000 views. I mean, I should probably aim for maybe 8,000. But
Black Ronin 357 tipped $5 through Super Chat. I don't see the reason for Veilguard hate when metaphor exists. Both have woke elements, but not a peep. TGAs are a scam too.
Black Ronin? I can't comment on Metaphor. I haven't played it yet.
Or 2,000 tip $2 through Super Chat. Pikora's Hololive Japan, she's definitely winning.
Alright, Devastator. Since you insist, Usada Pekora, there you go. Just for you. I have tainted my reviews, my voting, just for you. Happy? You voted me as a writing candidate? That's what I like to see, Gorsty? Steve jealous? That's what I like to see? What do you think about a mobile game being nominated for Game of the Year? I think it's fine. Wait, where is the Game of the Year nominations? Did we pass them? Alright, that was the very first one. But yeah. I played the demo of this, and that's about it. And I only played like 2 hours. I really enjoyed it, so I bought it. But I haven't played it enough to be able to judge it. And I haven't seen anything in the Black Ronin in order to confirm, deny what you've said. I mean, it may have woke elements, but I think Dragon Age just took it to another level. I think Dragon Age just, in my personal opinion, and look, I said this to Steve as well, because, you know, we were having this discussion while we were mowing down zombies. It was quite therapeutic. I don't care what you play. And whatever you do play, I hope you enjoy it. It's your money, it's your entertainment. No one should tell you what you should enjoy, what you shouldn't enjoy. No review should really turn around and justify what is good and what is bad for you. Maybe you'll find a reviewer out there that's, you know, of the same like mind as you, and then maybe they'll give you like a rough guide. But in the end, if there is a game that you enjoy and you like, power to you, and I'm happy you're enjoying it. And if you enjoy Dragon Age the Veilguard, that makes me happy because you're enjoying video games. End of story. But I will also be critical where it's necessary. And I feel like with Dragon Age, they just went a bit too far. The whole coming out, it was weird. A lot of that stuff just didn't need to be in a video game. It was weird. It shouldn't be there. I've got no problem with how people want to identify themselves, but we're talking about a fantasy setting with mystical beings and whatnot who couldn't really give two shits about what they identify as. And putting that sort of stuff into it is just plain weird. It just completely just, in my opinion, broke immersion, everything. But that's why I have a problem with it. Hey, Talos. Steve. But that's just mine. But at the end of the day, if you enjoy it, power to you. Have fun. I'm not going to tell you what to play. I'm not going to tell you what not to play. Right? Hey, look. You know the truth, Steve. I've got nothing wrong with other cultures. I'm just saying it didn't need to be in a video game. Not in the way it was delivered. I played Life is Strange, the 2015 edition of the game. Not, it's a pretty old game. It's 9 years old. It's arguably one of the best games I've played this year. I've got nothing wrong with different views and perspectives and cultures or whatever. None of that. I've got nothing wrong with it. I think Life is Strange is one of the best games I've played this year. Hands down. It was such a good experience. The decisions that I had to make and how they affected what was happening. The story was just told in a really good way. It's got nothing to do with the thing. I just think the way they went about it was clearly virtue signaling. There are better ways to do it than trying to have a DEI exercise training video inside a video game. And that is exactly what they did. And do you know what? The producer himself agrees with me. That's the point here, right? He agrees with me because he is basically acknowledging that these are the reasons that it failed. And that apparently he wasn't aware. And if he was aware, he would have made changes. I don't believe a single word that he said. But what I'm saying is you shouldn't be having training videos inside your video games. It's a video game for a reason. Look, you have I think a trans character now in Elder Scrolls Online. Elder Scrolls Online is played by so many different people. Do you hear anyone giving a peep? No, because a character exists in there and goes about their life on their merry way. It's kind of integrated into the game. It's not making a big deal, and that's how it should be. But I still don't, being disrespectful to people that are from the LGBTQ community is wrong. They are still people and human. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on them. No. I've got friends that have transitioned. I've got friends that are gay and lesbian. I don't care. They're still my friends regardless of who they are. They're still people.
Devastate or 2002 Canadian dollars through Super Chat. Chaos vote metaphor cause best game on the list.
Well, I don't like this. I'm not voting for this. That was a really good game. I'm not voting for this. I've heard way too much bad about this. That was in the 80s for me as a non-nostalgic player. So fuck it, I'll go with that. It's not going to win. Elden Ring's going to win. My vote was wasted. Exactly, Kira. Ventura. No, I mean, Steve, there are points there. None of this was an issue back in the old day. And, like I said, I've got no problem with people. I just think the way it was delivered in Dragon Age was bad. They could have delivered it in a much better way. But instead, I think that the best way to describe it, Ronin, they shoehorned it in. And they didn't care about anything. They just wanted to shoehorn it in and put it in everyone's face. When there was just much better ways of actually naturally putting those positions into the game. Putting those situations into the game. Ventura, that's it. It didn't feel natural. Whereas when I played Life is Strange, or when I played other games where the characters are not, straight, they're not constantly reminding you every 30 seconds that they're not straight. I don't know. The delivery was weird for me. And that is why I had a problem with it. Devastator, I'm hoping this video that you've sent me is actually, more than a day old.
Hey there.
Legend, you respected my terms. I wouldn't call the whole industry in shambles. I think people are making a much bigger deal of it. I just think that Dragon Age was picked out more because they decided that for them they wanted it to
Hey there,
make
gamers.
it.
Droopcast Guy here, and
Sorry, they wanted to make it front and center of their whole experience. That's why they were getting called out for it. Blame Devastator. He's the one that picked this. Well, apparently, he might not be. Because apparently the Game Awards nominees are trash in 2024. They are trash. I mean, how much trash could they be? But apparently they're trash. So, let's check it out.
hey there, gamers. Droopcast Guy here, and today we're talking about the Game Awards because they just announced the categories and the nominees for all the different categories, from Best Ongoing Game to Best Game of the Year to Best RPG to Best Fighting Game, and I got to admit that a lot of the nominations, they're actually frustrating because I just feel like how this stuff gets selected, how these games get picked, it just seems so incredibly stupid. But let's talk about the different nominees because it seems like everybody online is instantly pissed. Let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe.
The one thing I will add is at the end of the day, right? Whatever the Game Awards is from Jeff Keighley, I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't really affect you as a gamer. In the end, you still play the games that you enjoy. Whether they appeared, I mean, your game of the year will be different to someone else's. My game of the year last year was Alan Wake 2. Hands down, no game came close to it. For me, personally. And that won't change. So, in the end, these awards, it's just a show. It means nothing.
If you haven't already. Now, here it is. Let's begin with what is definitely the most controversial, which is the picks for Game of the Year. Now, I know some people are going to go, nobody actually cares about the Game Awards, but I think they do. This is the biggest, most prolific, public-facing award show that the gaming industry has ever had. This has tens of millions.
Actually, the one that's the most important is the BAFTA Awards that happen in July, I think. That's probably the biggest one where the proper awards go out, not this one. The reason why people flock to this and the reason why I look forward to it every year, it's for the trailers. They reveal some new games and stuff that's going to come out. So that's why they get more views than any other award show.
Sometimes even hundreds of millions of eyes on it. Now, a lot of those people are watching for the trailers and they don't actually care about the awards, but I still...
There you go. By the way, I haven't seen this, by the way, so clearly he already knows.
think they matter. So here is their 6 picks of what they think are the best games. One of them is going to be the winner of winners, but we've got Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring's DLC, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. Now, I'm not going to say any of these are bad games. I've beaten all these games. I think they're definitely all 9.5s or 10 out of 10 games, especially stuff like Rebirth, Metaphor, and I definitely loved Astrobot. I've been very addicted to Balatro, but to me, the two odd men out, Black Myth Wukong, I am surprised to see that there. Personally, I enjoyed... Well, honestly, I enjoyed Stellar Blade a lot more than Black Myth Wukong, but Black Myth Wukong...
I, I feel so dirty for saying that I agree with him there. I'm going to have to bleach myself or something. I feel dirty for saying that, but I do agree with him for saying that.
Is a good game. I think a lot of people are upset about Elden Ring's DLC because this is in a bunch of categories. We're going to take a look at it, but Elden Ring has already swept the Game Awards. Elden Ring already won a bunch of stuff. So the fact that it is once again possibly going to sweep the Game Awards, but this time with downloadable content, people are going, okay, well, it's neat that Balatro, an indie game made by one person, is being heralded as this monumental titan among the other big games. But it is weird to think about the fact that, like, I see people just being, they did it. They actually left out Silent Hill 2 Remake. It's so bizarre.
The thing is, outside of the performance issues with Silent Hill 2 Remake, anyone that's played it, and I'm going to play it soon, and we're going to, stream it and see what it's like. I haven't heard a single person that's actually played Silent Hill 2 Remake that's turned around and said it isn't an amazing game. There's performance issues. That's fine. That's, documented everywhere. But anyone that's played it, not one person that I've spoken to, and maybe there's someone in chat that's going to be that first person, legitimately, don't troll me now, to say that it was a bad game. But not one person that I've spoken to has said it was a bad game. And it reviewed higher than Wukong as well. Wukong got, I think, 81 on PC and a 76 on PlayStation in terms of Metacritic. We're talking a 76 is being put up there for nomination for Game of the Year. That's awful. At that point, why wasn't Starfield nominated last year for Game of the Year? It got an 85. It's way better than a 76, right? I mean, an 85 is like 9 points, a whole 9 points higher. So why wasn't that nominated for it? It's just weird. I mean, to be fair, I didn't expect Wukong to be nominated at all because of the whole drama that went about it, because it didn't have a female Monkey King. I think it was, I think it was GameSpot that actually reviewed it badly because it didn't have, like I said, a diverse character, so you couldn't play as a female Monkey King, which is weird. But I don't think it. I think it was a graphically okay game. I think it was a decent Souls game, but I don't think it should have been in the Game of the Year awards. The one game I thought that wasn't going to be there, this one, and it was there. I was right about Stellar Blade at least, because that had a really hot character, and obviously that's not allowed in 2024. If you look sexy, you're out for the count.
I like the fact that Elden Ring is so good. It is some of the best DLC I've played. I beat it, and God, I do love that DLC. But other games like Infinite Wealth, I feel like that's much more deserving. I mean, a lot of people are saying it's not a standalone game. It feels like other games are being robbed for sure. Now, here's all the different categories they have.
Let me bring this up because I'm probably going to put this on the thing. Now, in terms of a remake, if you're talking about a game that was made 3 weeks ago, like Sony likes to do with the Horizon series, every few weeks they like to announce a remake that's for the game that's coming out. That's a no-go. But Silent Hill 2 was released, 25 years ago? 20 years ago? I mean, it was on the PS2, right? If I'm not mistaken. So we're talking about 20 years ago. At this point, it's been completely and utterly remade from scratch. I think that's a little different to having Horizon Zero Dawn remastered or remade, where they're using the same assets almost with the same blueprint and going about it. So I think it's slightly different. Now, if Silent Hill 2 was released 2 years prior to that or a year prior to that, and then they said, hey, we're doing a remake just because, just like Sony like to do, then I think that would be an issue. Like with Resident Evil 4 remake, that one I personally had a problem with because Resident Evil 4 was released not that long ago, right? There's been like, what, 20 versions of Resident Evil 4, and they've been very close to each other in terms of release. So that one was way dodgy for me last year, and I wouldn't have put it in there. Silent Hill 2, which has been, what, 20 years now? I think that one is okay. But that's just my opinion. So I think there's like a nuance to it all. It's not clear cut. There has to be some common sense there between the two. 5 weeks between each game, there's probably a problem there. 20 years, I think that's fine.
Best narrative, best community support, best family game. But I wanted to go through a couple that definitely caught my eye the most. Best RPG. Even this category, I feel like, gets increasingly watered down. It originally was much more hardcore. All these games, I think, count for the most part, but I am disappointed to see so much of Elden Ring in here. I just feel like other RPGs deserve that spotlight. Other games deserve to be cheerleaded, to be talked about over this admittedly very good DLC, but it does feel like I just think that in general, the Game Awards, their idea of these things is just so wishy-washy. Like, best action adventure game, frickin' Echoes of Wisdom, Star Wars Outlaws. Now, I know I'm one person that I did not hate Star Wars Outlaws, but let's face it, 99% of the internet despises this game. It's so...
Wait, so this is getting disturbing. What have you done? What have you done, Devastator? So that means me, Woodpit, and DCG are in the 1% of people that actually enjoyed Star Wars? This is starting to sound very, very depressing, by the way, guys. I'm just putting it out there. This is getting depressing. But I agree with the whole Elden Ring thing. It's a DLC. You can't play it outright. Endwalker last year got a 92. Shadowbringers got a 93. Why wasn't that included? Why wasn't what was the DLC for something Liberty for Cyberpunk? Why wasn't that counted? That apparently was absolutely amazing, right? So and that was standalone, if I recall correctly. You could actually start that on its own. So why wasn't that counted for Game of the Year? It's really weird that they've added Elden Ring here and they've tried to justify it. And clearly the justification for it is the news that Sony might be buying Kadokawa. That is the only justification that actually makes sense to me. This was, again, just a pure shill move by Jeff to actually get it in there because of that news, because it might become a PlayStation IP. That's the only reason I can think. But you have to play, 30, 40 hours before you even can access the DLC? That's crazy. Next year, if you turn around and tell someone, hey man, you should check out 2024's Game of the Year. It's Elden Ring Erdtree. They go and go, oh, right man, let's go. Oh, by the way, you need to play like 100 hours before you can get to the DLC, and you have to buy another game. And after you've bought that game, you need to buy Erdtree as well, which is like this, another 50 quid. So, yeah, you're going to spend like £120 on the game, and then you have to play like 100 hours before you can get to that point to actually start the DLC, and you might actually miss it because it's not even part of the main path. It's like an optional boss that you might not even find because some people didn't. It's a weird entry.
So badly, they basically posted a public apology about how busted it was at day one. Now, Jeff Keighley, the organizer of the Game Awards, he said straight up, I'm not picking these, the panel of judges is. Essentially, there are 20...
Bullshit.
9 different categories and hundreds of different websites. Everybody from Eurogamer to Polygon to IGN to GameSpot, they get their reviewers, the people that have actually played hundreds of hours of these games, they have them actually pick what games they think are the most deserving of each of these categories. So It's weird to think that these are the games they think are the best of the best of the best, especially because not only was Star Wars Outlaws very glitchy at launch, but it got a lot of 7 out of 10s. Is it because it had so much action? Like, I wouldn't even count Silent Hill 2 as an action adventure. I mean, it's spooky and great.
Isn't that what I said when we were going through this? Didn't I kind of stutter when I came to this category and I said Silent Hill 2 doesn't really fit here? I said that before we actually started this video when we were going through it. Because that's true. It doesn't make sense. It's that should have been, they should add like a survival horror category and then put all the survival horrors in there and have you pick them.
I guess it's literally that they're just trying to figure out what stuff should go where. Now, this is one I do think is interesting, which is Best Performance, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's obviously the actress playing Aerith. We've got Luke Roberts from Silent Hill 2. Melina Jorgens from Senua's Saga. This is another one that just doesn't make sense.
Okay,
I did
that's
not
bollocks.
like Senua's Saga, but also I didn't really think her acting was that great. A lot of these...
Okay, that's bollocks. She did an amazing job. I will say that I think the Hellblade 1 performance was way better because it focused more on the psychosis than Hellblade 2 did, and that was Hellblade 2's, I think, biggest downfall, essentially. It decided to put the psychosis as an afterthought rather than the main focus, which the first game did, and that's why the first game was really, really good, because you kind of felt the psychosis as if it was affecting you. Whereas in this game, it almost felt like it was an afterthought. But other than that, I think her performance was absolutely amazing.
Star Wars Outlaws. How is there so much Star Wars Outlaws? That game sold 12 copies and
Wait, how does one actually dress as DCG Sanchez? That's just what, a red t-shirt and a Dreamcast cap.
4 of them were returned. Just utterly confusing.
You have a weird fetish, my
This
guy.
is the part, though, that actually gets me the most. Now watch. I'm going to click back and forth. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? 2 categories with the exact same thing. I feel like this waters down the impact of Game of the Year. Like, okay, here's Game of the Year. Here's Best Game Direction. I love Balatro. I have now played way too many hours. I bought Balatro on both Steam Deck, I bought it on my phone, and I bought it on my Nintendo Switch. It's my primary freaking treadmill game now. I play it literally 30 minutes every single day while...
Gorsty tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. New name for the channel, Dream Chaos Guy.
I feel I don't have words, Gorsty. And I know as a Scouser you wanted to hit me right where it hurt. We still knocked you out of the FA Cup. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Jug, that game is so fun, but I would not think of it as a game with outstanding creative vision and innovation. And again, the Elden Ring DLC. That is not a game I think has any crazy outstanding innovation. It's just more Elden Ring. Now, I've said that I think Elden Ring is one of the best games ever, but I would not think the DLC is innovative because it is just more Elden Ring. Like, why coming up with 29 different categories if the nominations just feel like they're being randomly picked out of a hat? Now, I got 3 more categories I want to look at here, but I am truly flabbergasted. Best Narrative, FF7 Rebirth, Silent Hill 2. Some of these make sense. I think Infinite Wealth, I liked Infinite Wealth, but a lot of Yakuza fans said they didn't like, honestly, they didn't care as much for the story. To the fact that it's winning Best Story is a bit strange.
Don't do it.
I feel like Silent Hill 2 is definitely going to win this, or possibly Rebirth, because the story in Rebirth is good. But again, Senua's Saga.
So he clearly has a hate boner for Hellblade 2. I thought the story in Hellblade 2 was actually really good. I didn't like the fact that they didn't focus on the psychosis as much, which I think was a little disappointing. But the story itself and how they used her and abused her and took advantage of her psychosis in trying to get her to do all the work because she was a warrior and they wasn't, and essentially risking putting her in the firing line to take all the heat, risk her life while they just sat there doing jack. The whole kind of journey and the way it came together. And if you actually played it a second time, where you actually unlocked the narratives, the narrators, and you could actually pick different characters to do the narration. And if you played it through with those, it gives you a lot more like backstory on their mindsets in how they were fooling Senwa and tricking her and abusing her. They were feeling, they felt bad for it, but at the same time, they needed to protect number one, which was themselves. And so they had no problem actually sending her into the Lion's Den, into Hell's Inferno, while they just sat back and enjoyed a cup of tea. And, watching that journey and the mindsets around it and different thought processes and different ways of the whole way it came together, it's clear that he just blitzed through it and didn't give a shit about the story at all. Well, I mean, most of the people that played it didn't. But anyone that actually cared for the story and the narration for this game will know that Hellblade 2 story is actually quite good. And if you decided to actually sit down and actually listen to what was being said and maybe play it through a couple times to hear the different narratives as you went through, because it really changes the landscape of how you're playing it and what you're experiencing, because it just gives you a different perspective entirely from the story, because it's not just from the main narrator or your psychosis. It's coming from a third party that basically is out for hit themselves only. It's very different, and I totally disagree with him here. And clearly, he's just taking a dig at Hellblade at every opportunity he gets. He's clearly got a hate boner for Hellblade, which is a shame. Whether it will win Best Narrative is a different matter. I'm not saying it will win because I haven't fully played Metaphor or ReFantazio. Like I said, I think I've played like 2 hours, an hour, 3 hours of Metaphor. I haven't checked my playtime on here. I know the demo is like 6-7 hours, I think it is. So I know I haven't finished the demo, but I played quite a bit of the demo, enough to enjoy the game and, buy it. Rebirth, I pretty much know what that is. He's already said that this has got mixed reviews, so, in terms of actual narrative, it's pretty much between these two based on just what he's saying, but to completely dismiss this is just asinine stupid.
To me, this feels like they're just trying to, grab attention. They can't think of any other games. Are you telling me, I did a video about this, there were over 10,000 games released this year. 10,000. Are you telling me of the 10,000 games that are out there, that Senua Saga, that game is one of the best narratives? You've got to be kidding me. This is not a serious competition. Okay. Best independent game, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, UFO 50, Balatro Animal Well. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these are great. I did hear good things about Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I'll be honest, I've not even heard of Neva or UFO 50. I did hear good things about Animal Well, but I'm not really in a Metroidvania move, so I haven't played that one yet. Outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside traditional publications. I am just confused by a lot of this stuff. Best ongoing game. Every year, this ends up being something. Honestly, I would have probably given Helldivers 2 a nomination for Game of the Year before freaking Elden Ring DLC. God. Best ongoing game, I'd probably give that to Diablo 4. I think Diablo 4 became a million times better this year. That's a seasonal action game where you're constantly trying to kill demons and get gear and stuff like that. Each of the new seasons have been better and better and better. I am baffled that this stuff, it just feels like of these 29 categories, 80% nobody cares about. Stuff like best esports athlete.
No one cares.
Random racing game, best adaptation, Nobody cares about this stuff, and I feel like if you keep giving these random nominations that don't make sense, people are going to care less and less about the Game Awards. Well, I'm going to watch it on December 12th. We'll live stream it, but I got to say, this is dramatically worse than my lowest expectations. What the heck? Keeley, what the heck? Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you...
I mean, there's quite a bit I agreed with him. There's a few things I agree with him, but yeah, I totally disagree with him. I totally disagree with the whole Hellblade thing. I mean, I think he's been a bit harsh on it, but that's just my opinion. Again, I'm not saying it will win, but to be that dismissive about it just because it's Hellblade is just stupid. But it is what it is. And, you know, I don't expect him to be any different whatsoever. I mean, the fact that he said Helldivers 2 for Game of the Year when Helldivers pretty much killed their own game, you know, they promised that there would be no nerfs to the game, and all they've done is nerfed every weapon in the game until it became unfun, is weird, right? That's weird. But no one remembers the bad, only the good. You don't build. I mean, Helldivers launched amazing. PC carried it quite aggressively, which is fine. That's the whole purpose of releasing it multi-platform. No problem there. But they murdered their own game. Their player base dropped so bad that they couldn't even defend against the droids. At one point, I remembered they were boycotting the game because of all the nerfs and letting the Terminators come and destroy Super Earth, and the developers had to stop it because if Super Earth dies, the game's over. And so they actually put defenses in place to make sure that didn't happen because the players weren't playing. When a developer screws up that badly, there are problems there. And to call it Game of the Year, I disagree. The PSN thing hurt them, right? But that wasn't the only thing that hurt them. That wasn't the only thing that hurt them. Like I said, the constant nerfs that they did is what ultimately really hurt their game. I mean, there was a weapon that was pretty much a press one button and you win. I mean, I agree. It was a bit too strong, right? It literally was press one button and you win. And so they said, you know what? Yeah, we're going to have to nerf that weapon. And so the community moved to a second weapon. And then they said, oh man, that weapon is too strong. Everyone's using it. We're going to have to nerf that weapon and hopefully they'll use something else. And so they nerfed it to the ground so it's unusable. And so the community went to the third weapon. And after a little while, they said, you know what? Everyone is kind of using that same weapon. Let's nerf it to the ground and move on. And so after the patch, the community used the weapon and it was absolute trash. You could throw rocks and it would probably do more damage. So they moved on to the fourth weapon. And then this cycle continued to the fifth weapon, sixth weapon. And it got to the point where they actually couldn't kill the enemies because their weapons were so underpoweredly shit. And the developers were like, oh, well, you just got to be better and get more people. And they were like, no. We want to have fun in this world, and you've destroyed our fun. And they stopped playing. And the developers decided that they were going to double down on that shit. Dark of Death? Yeah, there is. That's the principle of it, Leafstorm, yeah. And because they were boycotting it, and the Terminators were about to break through to Super Earth, the developers put defenses in place to actually stop that from happening. So where the game should have ended, they made sure it didn't end. I mean, the wood pit, essentially, that's what it became. It became a nerf whack-a-mole. It's just weird. But yeah. I mean, in the end, they couldn't kill they added these super like bugs into the game, and people couldn't kill him. Red Dead Free in 2070. Indiana Jones is going to be so good. I've got really high hopes for Indiana Jones. I really can't wait for this to come out. Then again, like I said in my video, I'm a indie fan, so I am biased about it anyway. I know I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, tell us E-Day is probably going to be 2026, right? What is KCD? I mean, Indiana Jones has to it should be built for the people like me. People who grew up with Indiana Jones. That should be their target audience. If they're aiming for the modern audience, it's not going to do well. Oh, Kingdom Come Deliverance. I didn't enjoy that much. The first one. It wasn't my thing. I would have preferred indie to be third person. I don't mind first person personally. I can play first person no problem. But I think indie probably would have benefited being at least give the option, right? Give the option of third and first like Avowed does. I think they could have done that. But machine games generally specialize in first person, so it doesn't surprise me. Well, passion project or no, I hope they are focusing on the people that love Indiana Jones as opposed to the modern audience. It's finally happening. A new PlayStation Portal update releases later today featuring cloud streaming beta for select PS5 games. The portal is finally becoming useful. You'll be able to cloud stream select PS5 games. What do you reckon it is, folks? Ah, they're not going to let you play Game Pass on there. Don't be. I mean, that's crazy, right? They're not going to do that. They're just going to have like a library there that allows you to play certain games. I mean, Jrogdal, I agree. I mean, I think so, Bags, but it's only select, so I would assume, at least for the get go, it's only going to be about 3 or 4 games. It's not going to be anything more than that. Let's see, does the article say anything? Stream select PS5 games in the PlayStation Plus catalog. Over 120 PS5 games from the PS catalog, including Dave the Diver. Okay. Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Monster Hunter Rise, Ratchet and Clank will be accessible via the portal. So in terms of actual PS5 games, I think it's just going to be restricted to these ones here. I mean, they've named these specifically. Dave the Diver's a weird one to mention. Invictus, I actually played it through Nikkei. It was fun. They had like a collaboration with Dave the Diver. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it looks like they're finally features not included. As we are in the beginning stages of publicly testing cloud streaming on PS Portal, some features will not be available, such as game trials, streaming games purchased on PlayStation Store, system features such as party voice chat and game invites. So basically, they're copying Xbox. They're basically quite a few steps behind Xbox. But the fact that they are already talking about streaming games purchased on the PlayStation Store, they are basically, like I said previously, I think it was on Thursday last week, they are clearly watching what Xbox is, Hiroki Totoki is watching what Xbox is doing, and they will follow suit. And this pretty much proves that. That pretty much proves that is the way that they go. They're going the same way as Xbox. They're going to have their games available on mobile phones. They're going to have their games available on TV, on laptops, everywhere. Anywhere that can play a cloud game, they are going to do it to try and outreach and increase their MAUs. They are literally going to do exactly what Xbox is doing. It's so funny. System features such as party chat and game invites on select games. Stuff that you can currently do on Xbox, where if you're signed in, you can play it. You can do party invites and do whatever the hell you like. These are all features that are coming. Right? These are coming. So they're doing exactly what Xbox is doing. It's just Xbox, like I said before, Xbox always tries to be ahead of the trend. They take the heat, and then Sony comes behind and does it themselves. And then you have a 180-degree, overturn reaction with "Holy fuck!" when previously it was "Lols, oh my god, what trash, what stupidity, who's gonna do this?" And then "Holy fuck!" Almost like they're having a fucking stroke. But it's clear from this one over here that they're just following Xbox. I mean, make it simple, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Cygnus? I have no idea. He was here last Thursday. I don't think anyone banned him. I mean, he was vocal. I might have a look into that the 1 terabyte expansion card. Pick one up for myself for 100. I'm sick of deleting games off my Xbox. Not enough space. Although the 2 terabyte one sounds a lot nicer, it's still too expensive in my eyes. Oh, Steve is really, really upset. Chat, I think we should be really supportive for Steve in these troubling times. It is Azure. They're using Microsoft's cloud servers to play their games. They're paying Microsoft to use their Azure servers. I mean, it's that or using Amazon's AWS, which I don't think they want to use. And Google have their cloud service, but it's not as good as Microsoft's Azure services. Woodpit, there's just bugs. The servers are just full, from what he's saying. Yeah, they are paying Microsoft for the use of it, David. I mean, it's coming from their servers. Yeah, PS5. On a bright note, Steve, it does show that there is a lot of demand for cloud gaming when people said that no one cares for cloud gaming. Is what it is. By the way, Puerto Rock double down. Acquisitions are definitely good now. Apparently, I'm at the center of saying acquisitions are the best thing in gaming. I don't know whether these people are using AI to get me to say things or just in a weird way dreaming about me in their sleep. I mean, I guess it's possible. I do have that kind of a charming face. Kind of disturbing though. But one way or another, they're clearly coming up with shit that I don't say and thinking it's me. Hey, boo. John. I mean, I've never said it. See? Bags is totally one of the bad ones. But they come out with the weirdest crap. Like, they keep saying, I've said this and I've said that. And the moment I ask for any receipts, all I see is tumbleweed. Dude, I remember when Tim Dog started attacking me, he really came for me, right? Saying that I said this about Doom and that about Doom and all this and all that and all this about exclusives, and Puerto Rock came for me as well in his video. If you guys remember, he did a whole video segment with me featured in it where he went through my whole timeline trying to find what Tim Dog said that I said, and he couldn't find it. And I turned round to Tim Dog and I said, prove what I'm saying by showing receipts. Clearly, if I've said it, you've got receipts. My dude had receipts on everyone. He had receipts on Colt. He had receipts on Gaz. He had receipts on every person on X. He had nothing on me. All he could do was lie about it, make up shit, and bullshit. And when I proved that he was full of shit, he blocked me. That was his defense. If I've said something, I've said it, and I will stand behind it. But none of them can prove it. They just say stuff that I said, and then they huddle around in their stables going, he said this and he said this. Kind of brainwashing each other. And then they come out in full force, and then the moment you ask for any receipts, they're like, oh shit, he's beat us at our own game. Run for the hills! So that means you have 4, 5, 6. You have 7 Xboxes. The PS5 doesn't count as one. Silverback. I know, Silver. I know. But what I'm saying is, I don't hide behind things I've said. And if there is something I don't remember me saying, prove it, and I'll take the L. Right? You know, I was happy to take the L with Tom Warren because he didn't actually make those things, and I made a whole video talking about it and, you know, showing where I went wrong. I'm happy to, you know, take the L where it needs because I'm just that type of person. Until it can play Starfield and Halo and Gears, probably by next week, to be fair. But until then, no.
Silverback tip $2 Canadian through Super Chat. For the laugh.
Hey, thanks, Silverback. I appreciate you. Chat, is there anything else we haven't covered today? I think we covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. If there was anything I missed in chat, feel free to let me know. But I think we've covered most things that I wanted to cover. I still disagree with Elden Ring being Game of the Year. That's not going to change. I don't think DLC should be Game of the Year. I think they should have their own category. And that should be good enough for them. But Game of the Year is just not in my books. Have a good night, gaming. I mean, DLC of the year bags, if there is enough DLCs for that. So what they should do is have remaster of the year, because Sony release about, 6 remasters a year. Then they should have DLC of the year. And if there's only one DLC, then they can kind of merge the remasters and DLCs together, because it kind of works. And remakes, I guess, to a certain degree. But I think remakes is a little weird. I think remakes, it depends on the year. Like Silent Hill 2, if it's 20 plus years, I think that's okay to be up for, contention again. But if it was released 3 weeks ago and they decided to remake it 3 weeks later, that's a problem. So it's a bit of a grey area. But yeah, I think there should have just been its own category, and no one would have cared. I didn't. I covered Stalker. I did touch on Genshin because someone was talking about it, and we did talk about it a little bit. But yeah, for those of you that have a Hoyoverse account already, you can go to your Hoyoverse account and link your Xbox account already, and you can pretty much play as soon as you log in because your account is logged. Otherwise, if you haven't done so already, create a Hoyoverse account and connect your Xbox account to it. So the moment you download the game, you don't have to do any of that for tomorrow when the servers go live, and you can get in. You can start playing instantly. So that is something you probably want to do from today in order to make sure that you are ready for the game. If you're linked already, then as soon as you download the game, it is good to go. If you don't, then it's going to ask you to create an account and then go through the PC portal. Well, I think you should be able to just create one on the game, but it's best to have a Hoyoverse account because then you can just link it with your other accounts, your Gmail account and PlayStation account and PC account and whatever, and it's cross-save between the whole of them. So you'll be able to, play wherever you want and continue on your phone. It's available on xCloud as well, so that's really cool. So it gives you the opportunity to keep playing while you're not near your Xbox. No, you've got your Xbox account, that's fine. A Hoyoverse account just allows you to link all the other game platforms to one. You know how you've got a Ubisoft account and you log in with your Ubisoft account and you can share your saves through the cloud? It's a similar thing to that. A Hoyoverse account just links all the platforms together to one save. Although I did find Stalker 2 quite funny yesterday. So I ended up downloading 150 gigabytes of data, which was pretty cool, right? I actually managed to get it done. 150 gigabytes. And then they came back and said, oh, by the way, just to let you know, there's a 140 gigabyte patch. I'm pretty sure they just re-uploaded the whole game again. Account already exists. I'm using Facebook account to play, right? Genshin, but I'm trying to link my Hoyoverse account. You need to log into your Hoyoverse account first, right? Go get on your PC, log into your Hoyoverse account, and you've connected another Facebook account on there. You can only have one account, so you need to go and unlink that from the Hoyoverse account. Once you've unlinked it, you can link your Facebook account, and then that will work. You've just got something else linked there. Unlink it, and then it will be okay. But yeah, that 140 gigabyte update for Stalker 2 was crazy. Thankfully, my Xbox was in standby mode, so it started downloading as soon as it was available. Mate, if they do another 140 gigabyte patch tomorrow, that's it. It's game over. There's no way I'm going to be ready in time for the stream tomorrow. No chance whatsoever. So don't jinx it. I do actually want to play some tomorrow night. Okay, this is funny. This is funny. Hey, look, some of us have pleb internet, okay? Are you convinced with my buddy Quack? Who's convinced with Quack with this? Force, that should work for you. Indiana is a placeholder, yeah. Preacher, I know those feelings, man. I know them feelings. I totally know them feelings. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until I've got better internet for Flight Simulator because that shit's not happening on my internet. Chrisia, it's messed up. What do you mean? I'm not a quack. I'm just saying. He believes that between Horizons, Hellblade 2, and The Last of Us, Stellar Blade has the best graphics this gen. Bags, we're going to be streaming that on 12th of December. I'm going to have a placeholder up near like a week before. So if you want to hang out, if anyone wants to hang out, we're going to be co-streaming it the whole night. So should be good. Yeah, 12th of December is when the actual show takes place. I mean, there was an Orcs Must Die 3. That's very similar. Someone beat you to it. But chances are I'm probably going to play the Series X version tomorrow.
Devastate or 2000 tip 2 Canadian dollars through Super Chat. I want to make a game similar to Orcs Must Die.
Thank you very much for that 2 Canadian. I appreciate it. Alright then. You want to make Ninja Gaiden Black remake? That's a really old game. That could work. See, I don't mind games like that being remade, or even Tenchu being remade. How old is Tenchu? Like PS1? We're talking like in the late 1990s era? We're talking 25 years? I think that's fine for a remake. See, when he says this, he's basically talking about laughing at my expense because he knows I'm never going to make the deadline of actually thing. Well, if that happens, then I'm going to be streaming something else, I guess, tomorrow. Probably continue with my playthrough on Life is Strange 2. But don't you dare try to jinx me, Steve. What I mean is, I want to make a tower defense game. Oh, well, Devastator, why don't you? If you have the capability, go for it. Okay. Fucking troll. Alright, man, folks. I am going to call it there. I've run out of things to talk about, and I don't want to just continue for the sake of it. And if there's nothing else anyone has, I will be back tomorrow with some Stalker 2, unless Steve has jinxed me, and if he has, you can all blame him. Otherwise, I'll be here back on YouTube on Thursday. Thanks so much for hanging out tonight. It's been absolutely awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the super chats and memberships. It's been great. I appreciate it so much. And I will catch you all tomorrow or Thursday. Beats out all. And make sure you blame Steve if anything goes wrong, because totally he's the one that's jinxing me now. But I am out. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Probably should have said that way earlier, but I keep forgetting and I'm really bad at it. But someone should just remind me, not just Chille. Just saying. Someone should defo remind me. Yeah, I think I'll just blame Steve. Anyway, folks, I am out. Have a good night.